What is up, guys? Welcome to Marijuana SA Weekly, episode 73. And today we're going to be talking about how to comment on the 2020 Cannabis Bill. And we joined here today with Dean. How's it going, Dean?
What's up, everyone? Thanks, Andy. Yeah, super important episode today. We did an episode a few weeks ago when the bill was released, and Andy also did some work on YouTube, doing some interviews and getting some better understanding of how the bill will affect us. And as a citizen in South Africa, we don't have much power, but we can go and we can comment and we can make ourselves heard. And the more of us that can speak about the correct things and push the comments in the right direction, the better the outcome's going to be. The bill will hopefully have a bit of a redraft, or whatever. Put your comment there. You may think it doesn't matter, but it really does. It will probably all go through a process where it's all vetted and similar kinds of queries are all put together, and the data will get handed over. I'm not 100% sure, but it is important. And for us who are in the industry and for everyone who's passionate about the industry, the best thing you can do is just to go and make yourself heard, and to rep the right people, such as the Fields of Green for All or the manifesto which they have. So there is stuff to be done. It's the fight's just restarted. As always, the fight continues. And we just wanted to come here today and just speak a little bit about this process and just have a little bit of a look at it live for you guys to see.
Yeah, it's a very the whole process. So we did a video with the Schindler's attorneys just explaining the process of a bill. If you haven't heard fully yet, there is a 2020 Cannabis Bill proposal. It is legit. It's not as unlikely to get passed as people think it is. I mean, the way this bill's been expedited is incredible. From what we heard from the attorneys and the lawyers and everyone, it was, it'll never come. 6 months, 12 months before public comment even opens. And we're sitting here almost, I think it's about 5 weeks from the date it was released. It's opened up for public comment, which is quite scary in a way, but it's also... it's mitigated one of the worries that we're not going to be able to actually get the public comment. Everyone was saying they're going to sweep this under the doorstep and no one's going to get a chance to actually public comment. But here we are. It's actually, it is working. So that's one thing we've got.
On that same note, they also, a lot of people thought it was going to be a long time till any comment, and now all of a sudden it's been very fast. Bill, draft bill, boom, 5 weeks later comment. So how quickly is this being fast-tracked through government? I think they want to get it done and dusted before the elections, personally, because it will be a hot topic during the electioneering period. So they're fast-tracking it hard, and we don't have much time to make ourselves heard, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, I've heard of rumors about whether it's a presidential thing. Sorry, I think we're having technical difficulties on the stream. I believe it's I'm getting Dean, is it coming through fine on your side? Sorry,
no,
guys.
I wasn't watching, and it seems to be back again.
I think I have
I think my connection's under strain, seeing it's the daytime.
Yeah,
my neighbors all like streaming series instead of working.
Mine seems to be there seems to be a bit of difficulty on the stream. It may just be
Patrick
lagging out a bit.
O'Brien also says, Andy, pump your volume up a tiny bit, please.
I did crank it as much as I can. Thank you. Okay, so let's jump to it because we aren't gonna have we are definitely having streaming difficulties. Okay, let's jump over to the Cannabis
Let's get
Bill.
at it before the gremlins take us down. See, it's the censorship, bro.
No, they want us this way. They want this not to be heard. Yeah, apologies to the live viewers. You will be seeing this on Sunday anyway. So here's the link. It's going to be in the description below. Make sure to check it out. pmg.org.za/call for comments 968. And it's basically, this is sort of, I think this is also a notice site. I don't know. I think there's a lot of sites doing this, but basically the comments can be emailed in to cannabisbill@parliament.gov.za. And it's got to be done by the 4 o'clock on the 9th of October. So they're only giving us a month to do this. It's not a lot of time, hey? A month.
Not at all. Flip, for everyone to get their ducks in a row. It shows that back to the same point. It just shows how fast this is being pushed, and I mean, if we're going to sleep on it, we're not going to get the right information out there. And then you can only have faith that it's going to be looked at as well. But that's besides the point. If you didn't try, it's worse than sort of, if you don't do anything, it's worse. Doing nothing is the worst case here. So
yeah,
the more people that can rally behind this, and the more people who have put strong, fair opinions about certain parts or push people in the right direction, it can only, at least that effort has been put in. Are you going to bring it up on the screen? Like a Google.
Oh yeah. I'm supposed to be sharing screen. There we
I was
go.
pretending I knew what we were looking at.
Sorry, right. Okay, so here we are. We've got the it's on the website. Later the 9th of October. Cannabis Bill at parliament.gov.za. So we'll probably issue our formal reply. We'll put it out on Instagram. We'll put it out on a YouTube video about our reply, because there's a couple of things that are intricate with regards to replying. What we don't want as an organization is the people going and talking about why we can't legalize cannabis, or why is it not, why can't I sell it, or why can't I buy it, or can I open dispensaries, and this and that. And that's not what the bill was originally prescribed for. It was prescribed as, more internet difficulties on my side. It was prescribed as a right to private consumption in your own home, not something that was that's about buying or selling it. Unfortunately, it's not there. I mean, we would all love it to be there, but we've got to keep to the point. If they read that there's comments relating to buying and selling, they're just going to dismiss it, and it might be a waste of a comment.
And then they're going to be flooded by various information that's not related to this actual bill. We weren't given a recreational industry. We were given an industry where you can consume cannabis for private, in the space of your own home, for personal consumption. So we've been given privacy around it, but there's still an industry that can be built around that within the confines of what we have been given. Recreational will come in the future. The government loves money. They'll see it can only cause good things. They see the money that's already in this industry. But this bill will hemorrhage some of the now sort of gray area or legal-ish kinds of industries that we're able to operate in because of the decriminalization. So rather comment on how the function of this, what we've been given, the private personal level, how can that work better within itself? Optimize that industry, and the government will fully see that, it can only be better to move more forwards, medicinal or recreational. And I think recreational will come soon, and there'll be a time to comment on the recreational bill. There'll be shit in there we don't like, But this is about the private and personal consumption. We can grow our own, we can operate private clubs or whatever, there's a lot of different stuff happening in the country at the moment. And how can that be done better and more professionally? And that's where you should be putting your thought pattern, or that's where I would be putting my thought pattern.
Exactly. Let's have a look here. So they've given the bullet points. So let's just highlight this first one. Respect the right to privacy of an adult person to possess cannabis plant cultivation possess cannabis plant cultivation material, to cultivate a prescribed quantity of the cannabis plants, possess a prescribed quantity of cannabis, and to smoke and consume cannabis. So I think this is where we're going to get a lot of comment on our side, as the viewers as well. What we don't like is this possess a prescribed quantity.
Or to regulate the possession of cannabis plant cultivation material.
Exactly. I mean, that would also be what is cultivation material, how they're going to monitor that, and a prescribed quantity of cannabis. Just by doing that, they're not going to be able to enforce it. It's unenforceable. It makes it extremely difficult. They have no ombud for cannabis. So no, we don't want there's flexibility. Yes, I suppose a prescribed quantity would save us a lot of complications, but cannabis isn't bread and butter. I mean, it's not cut and dry. There's dab, there's this, there's that, there's seedlings, there's harvest, dry, wet.
Yeah, and there's having this product over time. There's a production capability. There's limited times to produce. It's far more complicated than just saying 200 grams for you or 5 kilograms for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a far more complicated space, and by prescribing a quantity, it's just opening up for more arrests.
And then you're driving your medical crop to the port of Cape Town to get shipped overseas. Boom, now there's a whole problem, a whole rigmarole, because you're carrying more than the prescribed quantity. There's licenses involved, there's this, so there's got to be special courier transport systems. It makes it so difficult for anyone to operate in this space, unless what they do is they just put it at like 25 kilos or 100 kilos of anything containing THC. That way, at least then they can just anyone under that quantity of 100 kilos or whatever is just set free, so there's no, and it's only like a massive amount of extract, then only would it get queried.
100 kilos of extract.
I don't know, it's the same as when you send money abroad. No one gives a rat's ass if it's 50,000 rand. It's a lot of cash going overseas, but they've got it capped at 10 million rand. If it goes overseas, that amount of money is getting flagged. So why not make it an extra? But that's everyone else under that's deemed innocent, So it's that's my thought on it. That's where I would be upset about the prescribed quantity. It's unenforceable. Let's have a look at the next segment. Regulate the possession of cannabis plant cultivation material, the cultivation of cannabis plants, the possession of cannabis, and smoking and consumption of cannabis by an adult person.
So my main comments are going to be around that, the prescribed quantity, the regulation of the possession of cannabis plant cultivation material, the cultivation of cannabis plants, the possession of cannabis. And I mean, the smoking and consumption of cannabis by an adult person, that's sort of prescribing where, from when I was reading the bill, where you can smoke and where it's okay to and not, and that sort of stuff, So there is information that does need to be put out. The same as cigarettes, you can't just start smoking a dairy in the restaurant. Not anymore.
On the airplanes.
On the airplane. So I think carefully look at the stuff, which it all needs to be carefully read through, and it does take a little bit of time to understand what's going on in the bill. I've had a good few ganders, and I'm still gandering. But for me, the main thing was around the cannabis plant cultivation material. There's no way that's been prescribed, unfortunately, for how you would come across. And it's far more complicated than just saying, everyone must just grow whatever seeds are available, because you don't want to. You're growing different things for different reasons. People phone me every day and they say, I've got this or that. And, what strain's going to be best for me? I have ferocious anxiety, and I find that all this cheese I'm smoking is making me highly anxious. Is weed not for me? So it's so much more complicated than it seems that they've
that's something important you mentioned there, actually. When commenting on this bill, please, guys, make sure to comment on seeds. That's going to be a massive thing. I was going to leave it to the end, but we maybe lose people. But yeah, seeds is such an important aspect of the bill. They want to punish it with the trade in seeds being a punishable offense. How are they going to determine between hemp seeds that you buy at Spa and cannabis seeds and souvenirs, and why even bother? You're allowed to cultivate it. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think it just shows a complete lack of understanding of what actually people want with cannabis. People don't want to smoke the same thing that they've been smoking. People want to try different things, have different experiences, have something for the day, have something for the night, and if we don't fight for our right to purchase those different kinds of genetics, this awesome freedom which we're seeing now and this massive amounts of genetics is not going to be as easy to come by, and we're not going to be having as much fun as what we're having now, trying all these different flavors for the first time. It's going to become exclusive again. It's going to become hard to get,
straight up
black market, criminal.
No one's going to stop bringing in seeds. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to stop anyone. So seeds shouldn't be illegal. I mean, that is the single worst piece of that.
There's nothing psychoactive in the seed. You can eat those seeds for like high fiber if you want.
How is that causing harm upon anyone?
They've said you can have unlimited seeds, but they don't say how you can come. You can only be gifted seeds according to the bill. So there you go, bro.
They cooked. Seeds are important, and like who's gonna just go around giving people seeds? There's gonna be a market for seeds, and anyway. Whew, starting to get a bit riled up. Protect adults and children against the harms of cannabis. That's straight up bullshit. There's no harms. I don't know what they're talking about. They probably should, because you've made the whole cannabis industry into this disgusting black market filled with drug lords and gangs that are trading in cannabis because you've made it so fucking illegal. So sure, yeah, protect us against that. Regulate it, will take the war on drugs away. It'll keep the police resources going to things that actually matter. So, and
you'll have millions from testing. If you open testing facilities, government testing facilities, everyone tests their bud, everyone sells their bud.
Yeah.
Millions for the police to go and fight actual problems.
Yeah, exactly. Have controlled cannabis, or cannabis, not controlled cannabis, tested cannabis that. It's not like, we send in cannabis samples all the time, and, we don't want to get, it's a paranoia because we're sitting like, what if we go down for this 1 gram in the mail? So yeah, let us test our bud. Let us, I think that's going to bring the protection. It's going to stop people are going to want bud that's certified, free from heavy metals, free from pesticides, and that's going to maybe make the harm of a byproduct of cannabis a bit better. I know they said children. Jeremy got a bit triggered when how they said children are, giving cannabis to a child. You'll be subject to imprisonment. Just sure, go tell that to the parents of the children who are taking heaps of ADD medicines and, kids that are suffering from mental illnesses or, diseases that are, only are pain levels that are only soothed by cannabis, and there's thousands of them. So you can, see if they're going to stop giving their kids cannabis. I guarantee you they're not. Getting way too triggered. Dean, you can read the next one, bro.
So at least this next one's quite cool. So provide for expungement of criminal records of persons convicted of possession or use of cannabis. That's a massive one. Like, that's really, really, really awesome. I know in the States, I don't think that's quite happened yet. So, it's really going to put most, of drug arrests, a high number of those drug arrests are for possession of a small amount of cannabis. It puts a huge amount of strain on a system which is already strained. So I'm really excited to see that line. And I suppose depending on how the bill comes out, what will be expunged could be more or less. I mean, if they set sort of dealing at over 1.2 kilograms, then all of a sudden anyone who was in possession of say 1 gram to probably that much is going to be looking at an expungement, So very, very exciting. At least that has come up, and I think it's a good line. I'm sure there's stuff to be commented on inside. I haven't looked as in depth into that just yet myself, so I can't comment much more. But yeah, I think it's a positive in the space.
Of course. What are they going to leave those guys to rot in prison or walk around without jobs because they've got a criminal record for a gram or two? Or, yeah, I mean, they should have expunged them 2 years ago as soon as the Constitution passed the verdict. I mean, but yeah, let's back them up. I'm 1,000% for expungement of any criminal records relating to cannabis. It's not worth the time. It's not the punishment fit for the crime. It's not a crime at all. So yeah, let's expunge. Moving on to the last one. Delete and amend provisions of certain laws and provide for matters connected within. So that's just basically talking about how they are going to just delete and amend provisions. So I think that's exactly what it says it is. It's not related to anything specific within the bill. It's sort of like the overall, put your comments and thoughts. Maybe that's where you could amend the provision relating to cannabis seeds, possibly. That might be one worth putting there. So, guys,
who's Mr. V. Romano?
Dude, that guy.
He's the man who's getting the emails,
and he's got his phone number there.
Could maybe give him a call on the next show.
I think this guy's gonna get trolled so hard.
He's probably gonna get hounded.
Excuse me, I'm ready to comment, and he's just like, Mr. Romano, have you got a pen and paper ready? Yeah, maybe we call him in on the next show. I think that's a great idea.
Guys, but yeah, all in all, there's a lot of information tied into these few lines that we've read over here, and it would be good we highly recommend you go and educate yourself as to what the proposed laws will be and how they'll affect you, and then to provide well thought out comment related to your feelings. And I would also suggest a referral to the Fields of Greens manifesto, just so that Gavi can also have a look in there what's happening, because it's a very, very nice document of a very nice proposed regulation of cannabis within South Africa, which I stand behind fully, and so does Marijuana SA.
And remember,
in
summary, also we want seeds not to be a punishable offence. We want an ombudsman. It mustn't be the police regulating all of these things. They had no mention of an ombudsman anywhere in there. And as we said earlier, it's like, how is the policeman going to determine, hemp versus cannabis, or, something psychoactive versus this, or dab or diamonds or whatever.
Or CBD plants versus THC plants.
Exactly. And counting seedlings and clones. So let's get an ombudsman in to moderate the crimes that are brought forth. Then the ombudsman decides whether it's the cases that are brought forth, and the ombudsman decides whether harm is being done onto other people or not. So, ask for seeds, ombudsman. Kids, if your parent wants to give you cannabis and it's in a safe and responsible way, sure, it's part of how it is. I mean, we had beers, 1 or 2 as kids. It just happens. Don't make it a 15-year in prison thing. It's just people are going to rebel. So guys,
my animals are going ape here today, guys.
Okay, yeah. On that note, we are going to just say peace, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining the live. And much love. Check you guys next week. Woo.
Cheers, guys. Sorry about that.